Now that we've progressed to episode 4, let's put all 4 operations together into one calculation. So we're going to do a number of them to see how they work, and we're going to start off with -3 plus bracket -2 minus bracket -5. So these I would suggest you do in steps to show you're working out and to really understand how you're working with these things. So we're going to keep working downwards now. So that -3 doesn't have a bracket attached to it, so it's just -3. It's not being affected by anything at this stage. However, because there's a bracket here separating the plus sign from the minus sign, this plus here is actually meaning +1 times the bracket that contains -2. So we don't write that 1 in normally, but just remember if there's a plus without a number and then a bracket, it's an imaginary 1. So the first thing we have to do is we have to find out from our rule of signs that we did last time what these two signs are going to give us as a single sign. Two signs become one sign when you're multiplying them together or dividing them. So we've got positive times negative is negative, and 1 times 2 is 2. Then here again it's an imaginary 1, but I'm not going to write it in every time. Just remember that it is an imaginary 1. Negative times negative is positive, and the 1 times 5, you don't have to say 1 times 5. If there isn't a number written in there, it will simply be the number that is in the bracket. Right, then we can get to our last step. So in this step we had multiplication involved. And now we see that because we've eliminated the brackets by using the rule of signs, we now have adding and subtracting. So we simply move from left to right. -3 minus 2, you've started in the negatives, you're jumping to the left, so you end up on -5. And -5 plus 5, well, you -5 there, you're 5 away from 0, so when you add the 5, you're going to land up exactly on 0. Let's have a look at negative bracket -6 plus bracket -5 minus 7 bracket -3. Again, the first step we do is going to be to eliminate the brackets. This number here didn't have any bracket attached to it, so it was unaffected. This bracket, this first item here has got something attached to it with a bracket. So we've got to say negative times negative is positive 6. Here the positive is being multiplied by the negative because of the bracket. So positive times negative is -5. Here -7 is being multiplied by -3. So negative times negative is positive. 7 times 3 is 21. Eliminated the brackets, simply move from left to right. 6 minus 5 is a grade 1 sum, so that will give us an answer of 1, and then 1 plus 21 is also straightforward, simple, which will give us 22. Right, -2 plus 3 bracket -8 minus bracket -7. First step, eliminate the brackets. That -2 is not affected by anything. Positive 3 is being multiplied by -8. So positive times negative is negative. 3 times 8 is 24. This again, remember it's an imaginary 1. So it's really -1 times -7. Negative times negative is positive. 1 times 7 is 7. So if I move from left to right now, I'm on -2 and I'm jumping 24 more jumps to the left. So I'm in the negatives and I'm going to jump further into the negatives and I'm going to land up on -26. Now I've got to jump towards the right. So from -26, I've got to come this way. I'm still going to end up in the negatives. And how do I find out what number I'm going to land up on? Let's take the answer we had so far. -26 plus 7, find the difference between those two numbers, and that's going to be my answer, and I had already decided that it was a negative answer. We now have 4 bracket negative 3 plus 7 bracket negative 2. Let's have a look at what that's going to give us. So here we've got these two multiplied together and those two multiplied together. So in my first step, to get rid of the brackets, that is a positive. Positive times negative is negative. 4 times 3 is 12. Positive times negative is negative. 7 times 2 is 14. I'm in the negatives. I'm jumping further to the left. So I'm going deeper into the negatives. How do I find out what I'm going to land on? Add the 12 and the 14, and we're going to see that we end up on negative 26. 2 more, and then you should be champions at all of this. 2 bracket negative 3 minus 2 bracket negative 1 plus bracket negative 7. Multiplied, multiplied, multiplied. Get rid of the brackets first. Positive times negative is negative. 6 times 3 is 18. Negative times negative is positive. 2 times 1 is 2. Positive times negative is negative. Imaginary 1 times 7 is 7. Right, negative 18 plus 2. I'm quite deep in the negatives and I'm only jumping twice to the right, so I'm still going to be in the negatives, and I'm going to land up on negative 16. Then I've got to say negative 16 minus 7, so starting in the negatives, jumping further into the negatives, my answer is going to be a negative. How do I find out what the number is? 16 and 7 is going to give me 23, negative 23. Let's end off with negative 4 times, remember the bracket means times, negative 2 minus 3 times negative 2 plus 6 times negative 4. Eliminate your brackets. First step is eliminating brackets. Second step, finding your final answer. Negative times negative is positive. 4 times 2 is 8. Negative times negative is positive. 3 times 2 is 6. Positive times negative, the two signs are different, so it gives me a negative. 6 times 4 is 24. So what is 8 plus 6? Well, that's a straightforward sum that you did way back in your school career. That gives us 14. From positive 14, we're going to subtract 24. So if I start jumping to the left, it will take me 14 jumps to get to 0. How many jumps will I be having left in order to go into the negative side? I know that my answer is going to be negative. I've used up 14 of them. From 24, I've got 10 jumps left. If you set your work out carefully like that, systematically, so that it's easy for anybody to read, and also for you to see exactly what you've done in each step, you are surely going to have success very quickly.